Hey Ben, how are you, buddy? Beautiful day up here today, mate. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. It is just exquisite. Okay, chunking the ball. As I said in the email, if I was a robot and I was fixed, all these points here were fixed, I could do that 800 times and the club would hit the ground in exactly the same place. Why? Because my radius is constant. If the robot was here and it fell over, the radius would decrease and the club would go into the ground. So that's one of the reasons for chunking, is the radius is decreasing. Now why is it decreasing? Okay, now when I take it back here, I don't lose any height in the backswing and I don't gain any height in the backswing, which would make me subconsciously, from a physical point of view, feel that I had to re-establish that position in space and I would probably start to go down. So the basic message is, Ben, that just feel that there's a point right at the back of the base of your neck that's fixed in space and it doesn't move up or down. It can move sideways a little bit, but it doesn't move up or down, because that is your swing radius. If we're here and we've got our arms extended here, that lead arm is extended here, you've got to maintain that position. You can't roll into the backswing here and then come back with a lowering of height, because the club will just go in the ground. So the easiest way and the simplest way is to just feel that point in the back of your neck never moves in the backswing. Now whatever you've got to do to facilitate that not moving in the backswing, you have to do that. Now whatever that may be. For me, I just think about it staying in that place. And as I take the club back, I don't want to roll down with it. I don't want to roll over here, because invariably if I roll over there, that'll push the head down and it may stay there. So just stay as upright as you can with the back of the neck in place, and just keep it there in the backswing. Just keep it there. Just concentrate on that. And we don't have to do a lot in terms of physical application of the body to the ball. All we have to do is stay in place in the backswing here. Keep the 5 o'clock nose and try and keep the 5 o'clock nose outside the trail foot. Now keeping that 5 o'clock nose there will actually help to keep the back of that neck fixed in space. Here. We don't want any up or down. Now guys like Mo Norman dropped in the downswing, but Mo dropped in the downswing, but he had a compensator, and his compensator was lateraling. He went to here and then he dropped, but he lateralized at the same time. So as he lateralized, he took his hands forward, which actually stopped. If he'd kept his hands back here and he'd bent his legs and gone down like that, he would have stuck the club in the ground. But the fact that he pulled it like this, and he didn't play it off the back foot, he went down, but he pulled the hand forward. And that compensated for the loss of height. And he had a very strong position at impact on the golf club, and he was sliding and leading the handle. But if you just went back here and you came down with the legs and you didn't move like we do in like we don't do in channel lock, if you went down like that in channel lock and we're staying here like that, the club would just go in the ground. So you've got to stay up And you've got to keep that spine relatively in place. We don't want to have too much secondary tilt. This is not a golf swing that has a lot of secondary tilt. This is primary tilt at address, that's secondary tilt at impact. Now you have a lot of that in a conventional good swing, but we don't have a lot of that in channel lock. Because channel lock, we're just staying still here and firing the club here. So feel like you're sitting into that trail rump or that buttock area here. As you fire the club down, feel like you're sitting there. But we don't want to get under it like that. That'll make you chunk the ball. You're talking about chunking and hitting it straight right. Well, clearly if you chunk it, if you come in and you go like that and you chunk it, invariably this arm will do that. Club face being coming in will open the, even if you don't chunk it, if you drop down, the lead arm will do that and open the club face. So you don't want to get under it, and you don't want to be firing that trail shoulder down and losing height with it. It's just got to stay back and be down as a result of the backswing. Now the backswing generally, Ben, is just this. If we were standing horizontally here, perpendicular, and we just turned our shoulders, that's how they turn. The left shoulder's not going down and the right shoulder's not going up, it's just turning. It's turning around a fixed point, which is the spine. Yeah. Now the only reason that the left lead shoulder goes down is that we increase our spine angle. We're just turning there. Yeah. Now the back of that neck is constant. As we turn over, we're still turning the same way, but we're just turning on an inclined plane. So it looks like the lead shoulder is going down. And it looks like the trail shoulder is going down, like that. But then they're not. They're just turning horizontally around the spine. Now you don't want this happening. You don't want that happening, and you don't want that happening. No matter where you are. The lead shoulder just goes across and the trail shoulder goes back. If I stand perfectly up, they're on the same plane. Look, that's dead square. Hogan they say Hogan swung the club flat, but his club was just in the position it was in because he was very upright in his upper body. Hogan was like that. Nicholas was like that. So Jack's shoulder went down there and looked like he threw it down, but it was only because his back was so pronounced. The same with Watson, Tom Watson, those guys. But Hogan wasn't. Hogan was here. Hogan used to be very upright, so his shoulders were turning, you know, they're very horizontal-ish compared to other players that have a lot of back bend or torso tilt. He didn't have that. Now whatever you have, and I don't advocate an amount, but whatever you determine that suits you in channel lock, whatever that is, you've got to maintain it here. We just take it across and maintain it. You can't change, you can't go up or down. You just can't do that. And if you just think about that, that's a really simple picture, but it's a very, very strong message to the brain to do something and to maintain something. So where we are here, we're just going to turn that shoulder, whatever the angle is, whatever amount of back angle we end up with. We're just going to keep it. Now the ball going to the right, if you don't chunk it and the ball still goes to the right and you're swinging into out, clearly the club face is open. The ball can only go to the right if the club face is open. If I swing into out and my club face is closed to the target, to the line, to the target line, the ball will start right as it does, or right-hander, start to the right a little bit, as it does in channel lock, but because the face is shut down, it will then come back. If the face is open, it will keep going. So that'll be a straight push or a push draw. Now if you're getting a straight push and you say your shot is straight right for a right-hander, club face is open. Now at the end of the day, the only thing that goes out to the golf ball, and I'm over where the cows are going today, in the crabgrass, the only thing that goes out to the golf ball in channel lock is the arms and hands. But remember, this club face goes that way, Ben. You've got to get that type of release on the golf club. The arms and hands go out there, but the face of the club goes towards the target. If the face of the club goes out like that, and if you're pitching that shoulder down and changing your height, your address height, that will have a propensity to do that. If you stay back like that, you'll have a propensity to open the club face. Now we don't want to move backwards and we don't want to move forwards very much. The only thing that goes forwards is our arms and the club. Here. That's all that happens. Now I'm basically, this is me here. See, my hands are going out there, Ben. The club face is going there towards the target. And you can never lose sight of that, because that creates all sorts of problems in the golf swing. If you take your hands and the club face that way, you'll get separation here for a start. You'll hold off the release and the lead arm will do this. Just go straight right. Or you could just lead the hosel into the ball and you can end up just shanking the golf ball, which we don't want to do. So just practice doing this. Just stand perfectly still. Think, I'm not going to move. I'm just going to take my arms here. See how this arm's here? Shoulders are still closed. The arm's not out there like that. We want the club to feel, the arms feel like they're going out there, but they're not going out there like that. They're going like that. That's what they're feeling like. Yes, so buddy, that's chunking, changing the height. And it can happen, it could be this. As you roll into the backswing, I watch my shadow there. My axis of rotation, which is the back of my neck here, has moved over here, and I've gone down, I've lost height. Now it's going to be very hard for me to make any decent type of contact with the golf ball if that radius is changing. We don't want that radius to change. So just get whatever, just get 8 on or a 9 or something, and just hit a few shots where you stay really in place here. Keep the back of that neck in place here. That club's released there. Yeah. Here. That's the look you've got to get. So you've got to develop the feel that creates that look. That's the reality of this golf swing. You have to develop that look, and you have to have the feel that creates that look. Just keeping that radius. Now the club is basically just becomes a servant, Ben. It can't go anywhere because it's just swinging around. It's just swinging around that fixed point, which is the back of the neck. So that radius is going to be the same all the time. And so really concentrate on the 5 o'clock nose outside the foot. Concentrate on feeling like somehow you've got that neck positioned in space, and it just stays there. And just release the golf club. Just feel for a while that the golf club is actually releasing over here. We don't want the arms going over there because the shoulder will go there. Just feel like the club releases over here. A very, very strong release of the golf club. Like that. See, that's released it over here. Just get that feeling. The shoulders are still closed, but the club is released past the hands here. And that's what it is. It's a slap past the hands release. See, that's a real hard power draw there, because I've just fired that out there away from that neck there. I've just fired it out there. That feels very, very hands active through the shot, but it's not that type of, it's not hands active where the shoulders follow the hands. The shoulders do not follow the hands. See, there's a lot of freedom of release there, Ben. You know what, we don't want to be shoving the club or pushing the club out there. We don't want to be doing that. We want to be, the arms and the hands go out, but the club gets a free ride, a free release. All right, we'll just hit a full shot. And we've got a hard right to left wind here, so they're just power draws. But everything starts right of the target line. So okay, let's recap. When we need to fix the radius here in the back of the neck, we need to stay up and fire the arms out there. We don't want to drop, and we don't want to stay back. You know, when I in some of the videos where I demonstrate where I'm in this position here, I'm not going back here. All I'm doing is staying here. I'm not doing that. I'm just staying there, and that's all you've got to do. Don't get any better than that, buddy. Okay, get that feeling, Ben. Feeling you're staying here, club's going out here, and it's rotating. It's there. There. Club's going around the corner, there. But you're not going with it, buddy. It's going around the corner, but you're not going with it. You don't want to go around the corner with it. Otherwise, we'd hit the biggest slinging pull hook. And I've heard some of the guys say that they're getting some shanks and some pull hooks. Guys, you can only get a pull hook if your shoulders are open and the club's moving in this direction. You cannot pull hook the ball with channel lock. It's not from a geometry point of view, it's not possible to do that. You can't do that because the shoulders are here, so the club must go there. Just keep that neck angle. Wow. Gee, that's nice. Whew. That's pretty. That's easy. Okay, Ben, have a look at that. Just send me some video, and if there's any dialogue you want to have about that, just drop me an email.